Oh man, that was awesome. Today we're going to talk a lot about poo because we just got finished listening to an interview with Suzy Batiz, who was founder of Poo-Pourri. Uh, I know I've got tons of notes, but I want to see what kind of notes you got, Chad. What did you have written down for today?
Well, first of all, it's crazy to hear this person because we just bought some of this stuff recently. Because Dree was like, "I got this stuff. It makes the poo smell go away." I'm like, "What?" So this is just very timely for us. But so just a few notes that I had here is I love when she said, well, first of all, she's such a high achiever, and you can tell she's just someone who's an eternal optimist, right? Because she had to go through lots and lots of companies and marriages and bankruptcies and all this stuff to get to the point. And I'm sure along the way there was 15 times where she felt like, oh, I should just give up. I should just go get a job, or I should just be single the rest of my life, or I should just, and so she's experienced all the things that any of us have ever experienced. And the difference is between someone who ultimately fails and someone who ultimately succeeds is she just kept going over and over and over. So the first thing that really stuck out to me was extracting the positive out of everything. And this idea that it's like a muscle, and literally turning the poo in our lives into fertilizer. And it's just like that adjustment. Instead of looking at something as a failure or something bad, looking at that same exact thing as a lesson. And what did we get from it? What did we learn from it? Not looking back in regret. And she said, try, learn, pivot, and keep moving forward. Try, learn, pivot, keep moving forward. I like the way she explained that. And what I wrote down here too is just goal achieving versus tension relieving. I think it's so important that we understand. You didn't hear nothing. We didn't hear anything. I think she mentioned like maybe going on vacation a couple times, but what we heard the most of was just thinking and innovating and work and hustling, and she's always been after it. And that's one of the biggest differences is the work piece, right? Because I think Dennis Waitley is who I originally heard it from, and he said most of what we do in life, it's either goal achieving or tension relieving. And so if it's goal achieving, first of all, we have to know what our goals are. We have to know literally where we want to go and where we're headed so that we have a game plan to get there. Otherwise, it's just kind of like all over the place. So I just jotted that one down. And think about this. She said she filed for bankruptcy at age 37, and she became happy for the first time in her life after doing the internal work. So, and it reminded me of how Jim Rohn would say, work full time on your job, and or work harder on yourself than you do on your job. And that's why we're here right now, right? That's why we're on here every Tuesday and Thursday morning, and just consistently reading books and doing personal development, because the more we work on ourselves, ultimately the better our life experience is going to be. I mean, it's just there's no way around it. So I love that she said that. And someone who attempted suicide and then happy at 37, and I'm sure since then, I don't know how old she is now, but since then she's just found her way, and it's gotten better and better. She's talking about chill bumps and how excited she is to go out and do these different things. So don't get wrapped up in what other people think. Could you imagine? She went and asked her first few friends, and like, that's no one's going to want to talk about poo smells. And she's like, thanks for your opinion. I think I'll stick to what I feel like I should do, what I'm led to do. And so, because most other people in the world, I mean, we're always talking about becoming a 5%er. So the odds are if we go talk to 100 people, 95 of them are going to give us bad advice. So we have to find the ones that have the life that we're aspiring to have, and ask their opinions instead of someone who's, when we buy into someone's opinion, we buy into their lifestyle, right? So just be careful whose opinion you're asking, because you're probably going to get bad advice from most people, depending on, and it doesn't matter how much they love you. They could love you and take a bullet for you and still give you horrible advice. So that was big. Entrepreneurs solve problems. We are ultimately, so here in It Works, we're ultimately in the people building business. And the more problems that we can solve, the more income that we make, because this is ultimately what this is. And I can promise you, and I know Joel and Tay would agree, that as our teams and everything gets bigger, it just presents, there's more higher level problems. There's more sophisticated problems. There's more volume of problems. And so the more people that we can help walk through these things, ultimately it shows up later down the road because we're adding more value to more people. And then we have more influence. And with adding more value and having more influence, ultimately we earn more income as well. And remember when she was talking about how she lost 4 million, and it was like it used to be like when she lost 10 grand a few years ago, whatever, and it felt about the same. And that's what's cool about this too, is as things grow, we're able to, look at money in a whole different way. Like it might seem like a huge deal right now to lose $100, but later losing 10 grand could feel the same as losing $100 because we've gone through the process and we've learned. When people feel empowered, they're happier and more productive employees. So as a leader in this company, we always want to, in the military, we call it being decentralized, right? Decentralized meaning that everyone is their own CEO. And even though they might be on our team, we look at them as their own CEO. We respect them. We see them as a peer, like you're sitting at the round table, with your leaders. So you're all there and you're all equal and you're all together, and everyone's input, like Dennis Waitley would say, each one of us is as good as the best, but no better than the rest, right? That's the proper, confident humility that I think we should all, in my opinion, that all of us should bring to the table. Entrepreneur, this is the responsibility piece, right? We as an entrepreneur and an entrepreneur, we can't hide behind anybody. We can't hide behind our upline, hide behind our downline, hide behind, customer support, right? Because ultimately, as with our business, what happens within our business, it might not be our fault what happens, but it's our responsibility. And so we have to take responsibility for all the amazing things that happen within our organization and all the things that happen that we wish maybe wouldn't have happened ultimately, right? And so it was in here somewhere. Okay. So the last thing I want to say is kind of going back to the first one, is just this mental state of extracting the positive out of everything. And in the military, we call it hunt the good stuff. We've all talked about like waking up in the morning and having an attitude of gratitude, being thankful. What are we thankful for? Dennis Waitley would say, hey, safe again. Wakes up in the morning at 87 and says, safe again. What are we going to do today? Because his legs work and he can climb out of bed and he's woke up again, didn't die in his sleep, right? So he's safe again. Let's see what we can do. And when we're hunting the good stuff, when it's that attitude of I'm excited, I'm optimistic, the day's got wonderful things are going to happen today. And then just go back, I'll tell you one quick story and be done. My friend Josh, so he had made a bunch of money and then the company, things went bad with that company he was with. And so he ended up, doing a video the day that his power got turned off and he'd been served an eviction notice. So most of us would be like, man, I'm getting evicted. My power's turned off. Life's done. Right. And he's like, you know what? I'm getting the power's turned off and I got this eviction notice, but it's okay because all I need is one good opportunity. I'll get it all back. And within like a year from that date, he was, over 6 figures again annually. And so it's just like Joel and Steph, and I love your story because I know you guys were standing in food lines and you're thinking this isn't the end. This is just the beginning of a new story. We just have to find the right vehicle to get us where to go. So I just want to encourage all of you listening today that maybe you feel right now that you're having your stand in food lines moment, or you're having your power's about to get turned off, or you're worried about getting evicted kind of moment, but just understand that your story is just starting. And you might be 37 when you're happy for the first time in life, but just understand that around the corner and down the road that the best is yet to come. And I think if we always just believe the best is yet to come, then man, we get excited every single day we wake up. So thanks guys for including me in this. And I'm here in Texas with my best friends in the world, but I can't wait to hear what Tay and Joel have to say too.
Thanks, Chad. That was super, super powerful. I love that. Okay, Tay, what do you got? I know you got some good stuff for us.
Yeah, that was, man, super good. I didn't expect all that to come from a story about poop, Just the backstory is so good. And I think what I love about it most, her story was amazing. Just her life stance, just with everything that she went to. Like she said, the title of her memoir could have been The Good News Is. And I just love that. And I think that's the type of perspective and mentality that we should have, because like she said, life's a roller coaster. And I think life don't care who you are. It's going to continue to hit you every single day. So you have to have that perspective and that mindset. Okay, what can I do today? Like, I know certain things are going to happen, but what can I do with what I can control? And it made me think of the quote that says, it's not what happens to you that matters. It's how you respond that ultimately matters. And I think that's the mindset that we got to have. Like, things are going to happen, but how am I going to respond to it? And you just have to have that perspective in everything that you do. The second thing that she talked about, just the mistake after the failure, after mistake after the failure that she made. And then she said, you have to go back, find the good, harvest it, and move on. And I love that, because most people see the mistake, they see the failure, and they give up and they quit. But you have to understand that's part of the progress. That's part of the growth. And it made me think about the John Wooden quote. And he said, a mistake is valuable if you recognize it, admit it, learn from it, and forget it. And I think that's a process that we have to understand. Like, on the way to success, you have to go through the failure. That's how you get to the success. You have to be willing to put in the time, put in the work, put in the effort to dig out the things that you want to do to make your idea or your dreams come alive. The third thing that she talked about, and it was just her mindset. Like, she said, she saw opportunity in everything. Like, if she was in a place where she was desperate, she saw opportunity and she connected, like she said, A to B, and she knew she was going to get C. And I think that's what we have to understand, especially with this business. If you just do the A and the B, you're going to get C. If you do the A and the B, you're going to get C. If you do the steps of success every single month, you're going to continue to promote and have the success that you want. So that's what I got from her opportunities. The mindset is you have to put in the work. There's literally nowhere around it. If you want to change your life, wanting and hoping and dreaming isn't going to change your life. Doing A and B is going to change your life and help you get to C. So you have to put in the work, and you have to be willing to see the opportunities that you have on your hand. And I think for me, the awesome thing about this company is it gives you so many ways to make money. Like Keto Cash, Rap Cash, you can just sell the products just however you want, like the weekly bonuses. There's so many ways to make money. So you have to see those opportunities as ways and sources for you to draw that income for yourself. The fourth thing that she talked about is she said, don't let fear be the motive. Don't do things that don't make decisions out of fear. And I love that, because I think a lot of people kind of operate, and it's unfortunately, but I think we all started at that place where we do things out of desperation because we want to change our circumstances so bad that we forget it's a process that starts within. And I just love the fact that she talked about, she thought money and wealth would make her happy. It would make her worthy of all the things that she wanted. And it wasn't until she wasn't doing things from a desire standpoint, but she was doing it from an excitement standpoint. So I think you have to find things that excite you, find things that's going to allow you to want to show up and do the things that you want to do for your business, for your job, or whatever you may be pursuing. And you got to do it from a place of that. And she said something that I just said, I've heard so many times with this company, especially I've heard Carrie say it so times. She's like, we got a product that you will feel selfish not to share with other people. And I think you have to have that mindset every single day when you don't feel like talking about the products, when you don't feel like doing something. You have to think about the personal results that you've gotten from the products and understand, like, it works. You have saw it works, and the excitement that you had when you went through your journey. So I think you have to share your excitement and just let that really move people. And just the last thing that she talked about is she was just talking about how you can radically transform your life. And she said you have to show up, be authentic, and you have to share what's on your heart. And I think that's what I love most about social media. Despite all the negative things that go out, like Chad always say, like, we can be lighthouses. Your social media should be a lighthouse that when people come to you, they just feel like they're loved. They just feel like they're worthy. They just feel like, you know, they feel good about themselves because they showed up to your page and you gave them something to feel good about. So I think we just have to be lighthouses. We have to be hope dealers through our social media, through however we show up in our presence. And we just have to continue to share our story in ways that's going to impact others and help them to be bold enough to share their own story, because we all are going through things, and most people just don't have they don't have the courage to share their stories. But we've been empowered through this amazing company by being able to transform not only our personal lives, but financially or whatever the case may be. We've been able to transform our lives, and we are sharing our stories. So we got to go out and just empower people to do their same by sharing ours. So it was just so much good in this. And I literally didn't expect to hear all of this coming from this, but her story is just so powerful because it wasn't somebody who just had this great ideal and it just happened overnight. Like, she went through failure after failure after failure, and it wasn't till she like, I didn't do it from a place of desire. It was something that I just got excited about. I felt the chill bumps, and despite everything that I went through, I saw that I can move forward. And if it didn't work out, I would still be happy. So I think we have to have that same mindset. If it don't work out, you know what? I feel good enough about myself. I'm still going to be happy. I'm still going to be worthy. So you can't let the things and whatever you're trying to seek and go after, you can't let that steal your joy. You can't let that steal your desire for what you want yourself to be. So this was so good. And I thank you for sharing this, Joe. Like I said, we have these things, and I know the product works, but it's awesome to hear the story behind it. So every time I spray that bottle now, I'm going to spray it with more pride. So thank you for sharing that.
That's awesome. Yeah, spray your Poo-Pourri with pride, guys. That's what I learned from Tay today. So much awesomeness in this. So I've got, I'm gonna do this. I've got 6 things to cover that she talked about that were just super, super impactful. And the first one directly goes to what we do, guys. I don't know if you caught it, but she said solopreneurship and single motherhood go hand in hand because it brings income in while providing flexibility. She specifically said, being an entrepreneur and being a single mother goes hand in hand. Guys, are you offering your business to that single mother that you know? The great thing about this is that it's not truly solopreneurship. You're not on your own. You're in business for yourself, but not by yourself. So I would encourage you today to reach out to that single mother that you know and offer to help them create a side hustle with your business. Number 2 was being opportunistic won't always lead to long-term success. You know, her story, she's gone through multiple iterations of businesses. But the thing is they were always opportunistic and they were always short-lived, because sometimes when you're just being opportunistic, she wasn't looking for anything that had purpose or sustainability. She was just jumping on that short-term opportunity, which is what constantly led to her disappointment, because she would go through something and then it would end. And then she'd always be looking for the next thing. So if that's where you're at right now, look for the bigger vision for why you're doing what you're doing. You know, they say where there's no vision, the people perish. Well, if you don't have a vision for long-term for your business, your team won't see that either. So cast a long-term vision for why it is what you're doing and what you're doing, and you will have long-term success. 3, I love this because we talk about this a lot with our seasons of our business, but she was specifically talking about what we've just recently gone through with the pandemic. She said, don't freak out in the dip. Look for the opportunity. You know, she had those multi-million-dollar orders canceled. And the thing that she looked at was not that they just sat on $4 million worth of product that she had already ordered to fulfill those orders, but hey, how quickly can we turn around and do hand sanitizer? Because it looks like everybody's going to need hand sanitizer. And then her business jumped 128% year over year because she didn't freak out over a turn. That dip came and she looked for the opportunity and she seized that. Number 4, love this. And Chad touched on this one too. Don't run around and ask people their opinion. But I'm taking it a step forward. Instead of running around and asking people for their opinion, ask them to buy your product or join your business. That's super, super solid right there. Because think about it. If you're just asking people what their thoughts are about your business, there's no ask whether they would buy the product or join the business. So instead of asking for opinions, ask them to come along your journey with you. 5, don't let fear be a motivator. Guys, I don't know how much stronger of a statement that could be. You know, if you start running towards something because you're excited and you're really, really ready to go for it, that is so much stronger than something that you're trying to run away from. They're both great motivators, but fear can only motivate for so long until the fear actually sinks in and creates what it does, which is causes you to freeze and not go. It's a lot easier to run towards something because you have a goal than to run away from something. And then finally, point number 6 is kind of a bonus point because it's going to be 6 and 7. She said, you can radically change your life when you make the decision to. And then I love this, and I'm tagging it onto it because it was amazing. Are you playing life full out? Guys, thanks for joining us today. Cannot wait to hear all the ahas from this because, man, I know I got those 6, but there's probably 20 in between, and we don't have the time to cover it all. But man, go back through, watch this again, dig into it because there were so many things in here that you can apply to your business. Go out and make it an awesome day, and we'll see you guys here again next time.